Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day number 2 of the Crucible. And we are here for the European Crucible. Like we said, game number 2. We have our winners of the Open Division playoffs today, playing against the teams that they chose from the European for HGC Pro League. I am once again Techa, and joining me today is the person least like his actual name's definition. It's Grubby.
Yes, I didn't know what it meant when I picked that.
I was wondering actually, I never actually asked.
Yeah, well, it didn't mean the literal meaning. Yes, I try not to be grubby, but yes, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and joining us today here for the HGC Crucible. We're going to have a really cool match coming up. Team Leftovers versus Team Good Guys. Leftovers was our undisputed #1 seed in the Open Division, and so there's a lot of hopes riding on them to try and make it into Pro Division.
Yes, there is, and we can actually have a look at the journey that this team took. Team Leftovers dominated the Open Division playoff brackets, only dropping a single map to the team HGC, full German team, including some of the old old pro players like Gerdenherd, for example. No, sorry, that's the wrong team. No, this is I'm Fabulous and players like that. But yeah, they still only dropped a single map the entire time, beating Polska, the other team that made it to the playoffs, in 3-0s both times. And we saw how well Polska did against Diamond Skin, the slightly higher rated team from the Pro Division yesterday. There is a lot of faith and a lot of hope currently riding on Leftovers' shoulders.
Yeah, Leftovers was the winner of 5 out of the 7 Open Division Cups. And not just any of the 5, but the final 5. And so they're in really good prime shape, winning all 4 of their matches in the European playoffs. It looks like they belong in Pro Division. But there's only one problem. There's only 8 spots in Pro Division. So if there's 9 teams that belong there, someone is masquerading.
Absolutely, and we have to remember that not only did they win huge amounts of the Open Division Cups, they also got to the semi-finals in the last HGC Open Division playoffs. They came within just a couple maps of making it with either Zealots or Team Good Guys from the last attempt. This is their second try, same as Polska, but they are looking so strong today. And we're going to have a quick look at the HGC EU standings to have a look at the other side of this coin. You can see here at the top, the 3 teams decided for BlizzCon, Fnatic, Dignitas, and Expert. At the bottom of the table, though, Diamond Skin have already managed to hold their position in HGC Europe. Today, though, the Good Guys will be attempting to do the same. They came up from the Open Division last season. Now they just want to hold on to their spot. Yeah,
and whereas Diamond Skin, defending their seed with a 2-4 score, had 5 wins in the playoff, well, in the total Pro Division League, 5 wins against really good teams. Team Good Guys were only able to score 2 wins. Just like the Pro Division relegation teams from first phase 1, they were also 2-12, and both of those dropped out back then. So according to the statistics, Team Good Guys has their work cut out for them. But they are tested in the hottest of fires, the Pro Division Europe division, which right now is the best region in the world. If you look at Fnatic, they won the last 2 tournaments, so European scene, very competitive.
Exactly, and let's have a quick look at what these teams had to say about each other in preparation for this event.
Going into the first Crucible, we were without any pressure, being the underdog team, and we just tried to play our game and succeeded at that. This time around, we have to defend our dream and to not lose in the Crucible, to stay in the HGC, and we will do our best again to hold our spot. Going up against Leftovers, we're pretty confident that we can take the series. I feel like they are kind of struggling in some of their decision making and play style, and I think we can very much abuse that and try to win those games therefore. Winning this game means everything to us. Winning this game shows that we're good enough to fulfill our dreams. I hope that we can make all those things true today and that we can indeed prove us again in the next season of HGC and live on our dream.
Going into the Crucible, we are feeling pretty confident. We had a pretty good season in Open Division. Honestly, we kind of dominated. So going up, we're feeling pretty confident, and we think we for sure are the favorites in the matchup.
We won't treat it as anything special because they play pretty standard, so we think our standard plays better than theirs. I've been practicing for this moment for a year now, and I've always been like so close to actually making it and falling off just a little bit. And I think we could actually, like, if we make it to the HGC, play with the best of the teams in Europe and actually show that we're not like the good guys.
So as long as we play our game and don't do too many mistakes, might even be a 4-0.
Might even be a 4-0 Grubby. Strong words there coming in from Leftovers, but they are up against the power of experience here. Team Good Guys will be the only team so far to have had to play in the Crucible twice out in the European region. We saw the same thing yesterday with Lagforce, who were actually able to hold on to their spot. They actually had to play in the Crucible both times from the Pro Division. Whereas Team Good Guys, they've now played from both sides.
Yeah, kind of a dubious honor here, going to the Crucible twice. Once as the challenger, now as the defender. And Leftovers said that they are the favorite. They think they may even win 4-0. They want to prove that they can play with the very best of the best. And they said they don't want to be like the good guys. And I've been wondering, what does that mean? Do they want to be the bad guys? Or do they want to make it into Pro Division and not finish last?
I think that's potentially what they're going for there. But once again, talking such strong words can sometimes be a small part of the battle. Another huge part is the arena of battle that they shall be playing in. So let's have a quick look at the battleground and see where we're starting. It's going to be the Good Guys' first pick, and we're going to see them going for the Tomb of the Spider Queen. They're choosing the first map, home field advantage, a lot of good things here going for the Good Guys.
Now let's talk a little bit about the style of both of these two teams. Team Good Guys, they have a few picks that they are quite comfortable about, quite happy with to pick. They like to run ETC, obviously very popular tank. Love to take Arthas. We have some Cassia picks here coming in from raid balls. Even when there's not necessarily a setup where Cassia is taken as the anti-auto attacker hero or anything like that. Whereas Leftovers, they love running double warrior, double support.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, you mentioned double warrior, double support, but that support is always almost usually left to flex. They are more than happy to pick their damage dealer is usually left to flex. They will leave their damage dealer till last, and sometimes, as we've seen before, they will be the ones to run the Cassia, even in that exact same scenario where it's not as a counter to auto attackers.
Now, there was one trend coming up from the playoffs. Everyone has been looking at Leftovers as the #1 seeded team in the European Open Division. And the playoffs was the epitome of their play. All the Open Division teams prepared and said, we're going to be banning Chromie against the Leftovers. And that's because Blakidney from Leftovers on Chromie had been an absolute terror. Tomb of the Spider Queen, one of the maps where they love going Chromie.
Yeah.
And everyone respected it. Everyone removed Chromie. But we look at Team Good Guys, and they're going to be removing Rhaegar instead.
Indeed, they want to try and remove that support potential from Linked. But reminder that Linked is very strong on potentially heroes like Morales that we saw in the American Crucible quite a bit yesterday. He does have a lot of options here. So let's see what kind of priority they do put onto each of these different heroes. A bit of background on the term of Leftovers. Once again, they were here since basically the first Open Division. They started as just a team of players who, when the first qualifiers happened, they never got on a team and they never really were able to enter into the qualifiers. And if they were on teams, they didn't make it. So they just got together as the players who nearly made it to the main HGC as the Leftovers. They are what is left. And that is why they are here today, and they're want to prove that they're no longer the Leftovers. They are well-deserving players for HGC.
They want to be on the in crowd now, the Leftovers.
They want to be part of the sandwich, not part of the Leftovers tomorrow. We're starting off with a similar theme to what we saw yesterday. The Gul'dan coming in very early, but this time paired with the Morales. With Rhaegar already banned, we're seeing a little bit of focus on just keeping that Gul'dan infinitely sustained.
And Team Good Guys is choosing to go with the support choke, removing Rhaegar and Morales, two of the favorite heroes here for Linked, the support player from Leftovers. Whereas Leftovers has an unusually quick assassin pick in that first rotation. Normally, we generally saw them going double support, double warrior in the first 4 picks, flexing their assassin. But they're presenting a different image here in this first draft here in the Crucible.
Yes, they are. It's a very different style to what we usually see. And actually, it's a really nice support choke from Good Guys here. Taking away the Morales would have been a great healer for the Grey Mane here. Instead, We're seeing Leftovers bringing out the Johanna as a start, and Stukov. They need AoE healing now because they are against the Gul'dan. The next part, if Gul'dan hadn't been picked, next priority healer would have almost certainly been the Uther. But because that Gul'dan came out, they're forced into a cleanseless comp, at least for now, unless they want that double support, which can still happen. You also said it earlier. See ya, Chromie.
No more.
Really big priority.
Yeah, no Chromie for Blakitny. Of course, Chromie is incredibly powerful and would still fit in the draft for Leftovers. And Leftovers doesn't want to be choked out of their main support, so they do indeed pick up that Stukov. Had they not done it, Good Guys could have picked a second support and banned one, leaving very little but the dregs for Leftovers.
Yeah. So here's the question. There we go. We're seeing Leftovers banning out the highest CC tank remaining because they already have Stukov. They want to leave themselves flexible to potentially not have to pick a cleanse. They have Johanna, who doesn't require a cleanse on herself, thanks to Iron Skin.
That's a big bonus.
If they can avoid these high CC comps, right now it's Horrify and Sort a Grenade. If they can avoid the high CC, then Stukov's going to have a pretty decent time, even if he is left as the solo support.
Team Good Guys now has to pick a warrior that will still fit in their comp. The most obvious high priority pick would be a Nubarak, but he is not as powerful against either Greymane or Stukov, being a little bit more susceptible to strong auto attacks, both of which are represented in Greymane and Stukov. Ariel is going to be picked up, and Diablo.
Diablo coming in here, and they are still going for that high CC comp. Everyone here has some form of crowd control. Morales Grenade, Horrified, the Detainment Strike, and just Diablo as a hero. They're definitely trying to put the pressure on. They're not going all in on, we're going to pick Muradin and Sonya and just go all in for CC or a Nubarak or something like that. Instead, the Diablo is still very heavy on the front line. It's potentially risky. It's trying to bait out the cursed bullet for starters.
And there's no second frontliner yet, nor a solo laner for Team Good Guys. So Leftover can imagine that Good Guys would ended up with either a Sonya, a Dahaka, or a Leoric in that final spot, which would fulfill both roles. So Leftovers has to crack the code here. They're against double support with one auto attacker and one support so far. They would probably still need an assassin, and they need their solo laner.
Greymane
He
can
could
do it, but he's not as proficient as, say, a Leoric or a Sonya, as we were talking about earlier. He can win if he's able to drop his damage. So they bring out Uther and Kael'thas. Now, they played a little bit of Kael'thas, but we've also seen it sort of start to move back into the Pro Division in the last weeks or so. So it's nice to see a slight resurgence here. And with the double supports, especially ones that require a little bit of grouping like Ariel, Kael'thas gets a lot of value against this kind of comp. And
Tracer comes out. Alright, so there's two things immediately apparent in this draft. Neither team has a traditional solo laner.
Yep.
That kind of self-sustaining bruiser type of solo laner that can just remain there, soak experience, and even put out a little bit of pressure. And this is a trend that we saw as well in the Open Division, that Leftovers never really does a 4-1 split. They do 3-2. They leave one top, go 4 bottom, a lot of flexibility in their movement, and that's what we have here as well. But the same thing can be said for Team Good Guys.
Team Good Guys, like I said, exactly the same. A lot of pressure for Good Guys is going to be put onto that Gul'dan to remain safe, so we can keep that poke up, because otherwise, Tracer isn't going to be able to keep up with the healing. Like, yeah, we could in theory see Morales, but Morales can't keep up with Tracer, and if she does move forward, she puts herself in a lot of danger. So it's going to be very much up to Gul'dan to consistently deal the damage. Zay3 is going to have a lot of pressure on his back for that, and Ariel needs to continuously drop those heals. On the other side, Kael'thas could be the defining factor here for Leftovers draft with its high crowd control and reasonable point-and-click burst in one situation. If you could drop a Living Bomb onto Tracer, it's exceptionally annoying.
Yeah, I think it's going to be all about that mage play between Gul'dan and Kael'thas. They need to make a big impact for this to work. Greymane and Tracer, they're really good finishers, but they can't kill the enemy warrior all by themselves. There's double support on either side. So I expect a war of attrition here. Good rotations, smart turn-ins, denial of turn-ins with the interrupts. It's going to be the name of the game. And for all intents and purposes, it could look like a zero-death game in the early to mid-game. But any team that messes up will be quickly capitalized on by the mounts of CC on either side.
Well, let's find out, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for game number 1 of the European Crucible day number 2 between Leftovers and Team Good Guys. We're heading in to Tomb of the Spider Queen. Grubby, it's the good guys on the left.
In the blue, it's Z3 on Gul'dan, Raid Boss on Morales. We have Diablo being played by BKB, of course. Ariel is represented by Kronas and Antihero on Tracer. And they are Team Good Guys.
And we have a very quick pause before we get back into the game and introduce our open division teams. So, in terms, let's go through one of the most important features on this map while we wait for the game to start up again. What is the, which team has the best interrupts? Looks like we are ready to go back in. We can talk about that after the intro. So we're heading right back in to the first game, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go.
On the Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the right-hand side is going to be the Leftovers. And playing for them, it is going to be Linked. It is going to be Loba on the Johanna. Linked on that Uther. John Paul Diva, he is playing the Grey Main, Blakitny on the Kael'thas, and Potiboss playing the Stukov. Now, some of you may quickly be wondering, who's John Paul Diva? Those who have watched the Open Division.
Until recently known as Hots is Better to most of you, now with the name change, will be known as John Paul Diva. Not a new acquisition, but indeed has been playing with them for a very long time. An excellent ranged assassin player.
This is still the exact same team, ladies and gentlemen. Do not fear. So, look, back to the point I said earlier. Which team has the better interruption for those turn-in points? We have the Flashlight from Johanna. We have Holy Radiance, Stukov Silence, and he's gone for the ranged attacks, so that could be, and everything Kael'thas does.
Yeah, and of course then on the other side for Team Good Guys, we've got the Grenade. We have Tracer popping in and out, as long as he can do so safely. And Diablo's Hellflame, if properly aimed. Gotta be good at that aiming. So I think Leftovers has pretty good interrupts, but not really outmatching Team Good Guys by all too much.
So let's have a look at the level 1 talents. And we already mentioned that we are seeing the Spine Launcher coming in from Stukov, going for those ranged attacks. Wants to stay that little bit safer, a little bit more mobile. Doesn't want to get caught out into those corruptions by Gul'dan. Speaking of which, Gul'dan with the Echoed Corruption level 1. Grenade Beginnings, the clear by Morales. It has an exclamation mark, it must be said with enthusiasm.
Clear!
And clear! And we do have Johanna with the Regen Master. Kael'thas, we sometimes see Convection, but instead the Mana Addict.
So the clear for Morales is a grenade upgrade that reduces the cooldown for the grenade and also increases the knockback. Generally, when you see that at level 1, you would expect her to go grenade at 4, giving her the blast shield every time she hits a grenade. And then at level 13, the second opinion. If you hit 2 people, you have a 1 second cooldown on the grenade. You can really spam the grenades for maximum interrupts. And that's pretty nice to, for example, interrupt Stukov's Lurking Arm.
Yeah, it can cause a little bit of anti-synergy due to the fact that the level 1 cooldown reduction can actually lose value from that second opinion. But if you don't hit 2 heroes, that lower cooldown is still really, really nice to have.
Still
so
a thing.
It's still fair. You're building redundancy into your kit. There is that blast shield, like you did say. With Diablo, go for the extra charge range.
Yeah, that shadow charge, 40% extra range, trying to catch people out of position. And of course, Diablo has long been a powerful pick here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. We saw him played to such great effect in Roll20's match at the mid-season brawl against MVP Black in that famous 22-0 death game. A shining beacon in the North American pro gaming history for Heroes of the Storm against Korea. Diablo Medivh combo. He finds a lot of walls to push people into. Of course, Diablo needs a wall behind the opponent in order to get that stun proc and that bonus damage. And Tomb of the Spider Queen, being a narrow map, has a lot of such opportunities for the Lord of Terror.
Yep, great map. Speaking of the Lord of Terror, he's found Linked out of position, but a great gravity lapse by Blakitny does knock up BKB, gives Linked the chance to escape. In the meantime, Potiboss is also dropping some good damage output as well.
So far, of course, a zero-death game. That means that neither team has made obvious mistakes so far, which is a really good sign for the good series to come here in this best of 7 between Team Good Guys and Leftovers. With the tools that either team has, they should not be dying early in the lane, and it's a very encouraging sign for both of them. They're on point.
Yeah, on point indeed. So far, everything is fine, although gem turn-ins slightly in favor, and still slightly in favor thanks to that grenade of Team Good Guys. We were about to see a slight takeover by the leftovers here. Good aim by BKB,
Yeah.
as we were calling earlier. Disengaged by John Paul Diva though, and the silence from Stukov gives them the chance to escape.
Now this is pretty interesting. It's a 5-man group up by either team while lanes are meeting and minions are being left alone. Experience is being missed. That's the amount of commitment that Leftovers is putting on trying to turn in gems. Either team has enough gems by now in order to summon the Web Weavers, but it has to be allowed by the other team. And it is not being allowed by Team Good Guys. Attempt thwarted. Very well done.
The attempt was thwarted as both teams do hit their level 7 talents. We are seeing Ariel go with that energized cord, wants that extra energy. Gul'dan with more ability power. Prolonged safeguard for Morales, wants to keep herself safe from that potential Kael'thas damage. That was very far there by John Paul Diva. That's putting him in a great position to try and do the damage to BKB here. Linked and Potiboss with the slows and stuns, allowing them to pick up that Diablo kill.
This is a 5-man group up by Leftovers in the bottom lane. Although they do get Diablo, his souls do not get reset, and it comes at a great price. Minion wave will be missed in the top lane and mid lane as well. Leftovers took a big risk. Because they got Diablo, it was more worth it. But the real price that they were seeking is to get a subsequent turn-in. With Diablo now returning, the question remains, can they actually make this ploy work?
So they're going to attempt it here. We also, by the way, just quickly see Stukov with the targeted excision here. If he detonates just one weighted pustule and any number of healing pathogens, with Bio Kill Switch, it reduces the cooldown of his Bio Kill Switch by 5 seconds, which can actually increase healing output as well as that single target damage.
You need accuracy to make it work, but if you do, you get 2 big burst heals in the space of a very short time, rather than just 1. But credit has to go to Team Good Guys here. Without getting any takedowns, they outlasted the attempt of Leftovers to overgroup, basically.
Yeah.
Overgrouping early game generally is very risky because you miss experience. But the prize that Leftovers was going for that turn-in was foiled by Team Good Guys. Off the back of their defense, they saw the chance to turn in and have now summoned Web Weavers.
The Web Weavers are putting on a little bit of pressure. So far, they don't look to be achieving a huge amount, maybe a tower or 2, thanks to the lack of ammo. Kael'thas dropping the living bomb onto the Web Weaver, forcing a slight wrap around it so that no one from Good Guys can block any skill shots that come in there.
And in such a short space of time, Morales already completed her level 1 grenade quest. 30 hits are necessary. I've seen this quest completed in the late to mid game. This is very impressive, very fast, and gives her that cooldown reduction already. Now, heroics being chosen: Stim Drone, Crystal Aegis, Apocalypse, Horrified, and of course, the Pulse Rounds upgrade, Quantum Spike.
Stim Drone Tracer. She already attacks ridiculously fast, so adding in that percentage attack speed increase makes Tracer kind of insane.
Because Tracer has reload in between attacks, Stim Drone is technically the least amount of increase on Tracer compared to any other hero, but it's still a good increase.
Yeah. And there is a talent where you can actually take the reduced cooldown of the reduced timing of the reload, which can actually add a little bit more. And of course, all of Tracer's later talents for auto attacks do work well with the Stim Drone.
And of course, it buffs her grenade. It buffs her Quantum Spike regeneration. Now, big move here on Tracer. A full crowd control lockdown. Tracer goes down before she can even press recall. You do not pass start, you will be annihilated here. And with Tracer, Leftovers will now have an opportunity to get the counter turn in and try to grab back a little bit of momentum.
A lovely blessed shield coming in from Johanna there, setting that all up, and even with a Horrify and an Apocalypse on top of it, they weren't able to save Tracer. And that is going to be second blood, I guess, if you count the earlier kill, going over to Leftovers, and their first set of Web Weavers are on the way.
It's really interesting. I saw the Tracer position. I really did not expect her to be under any risk. There's double support. She was receiving the healing, the safeguard. It was an opportunity well spotted by Leftovers. And it shows how quickly they can make a decision like that. Lauber, with no hesitation at all, threw a shield in her face and finished her off. Now, Web Weavers pushing. Tracer is defending the bottom Web Weavers. And Leftovers capitalizes by going all 5 top. Trying to apply extra pressure here with the Web Weaver more than half of its life remaining.
And the Web Weaver, like you said, more than half his life remaining, will easily take down the towers, and they're going to attempt to grab the fountain with this as well. Web Weaver going to be bringing out that lovely purple death wave, dropping some damage, but it looks like everyone's backing up. We don't see Leftovers with a hugely aggressive play, not even an aggressive Phoenix to try and just drop some siege damage. Instead, they don't want to be caught out by BKB. They fight BKB though, and the delicious looking Ariel, who they hard engage on. Diablo with the attempted protection here. Jumble Diva with the pickup kill though, with that go for the throat. Looking for more, but Raid Boss is too far back. The Flames right nearly getting it. Surprise anti-hero though, but beautiful Divine Shield as well. And Boss gets out. What a play there, saving Boss's life. Linked. Beautiful Divine Shield.
What a massacre here. Leftovers with the very clever play. Disengaging from the top lane and hiding in that little brush there. But instead of passively waiting for someone to meander into their path, they took the initiative. They knew Tracer was still at the bottom and they moved in, ignoring Diablo, who was the nearest and most obvious target, going straight for Gul'dan. With a momentary interrupt on Horrify, only to be recast seconds later. They capitalized on Ariel's position and took her down. She had a full energy bar, but no cooldown. Sorely missing that old level 7 talent, Bursting Light. And Leftovers get another turn in. Very well done. Team Good Guys picking up the pieces.
They are picking up the pieces by clearing out these Web Weavers. Once again, they have really solid wave here. Bless Shield, again, the aggression never stops. Except when you pause the game, Grummy. That was the worst timing for that call.
Very strange timing indeed, but we don't know what happened, so apologies, but a short pause here during a very hectic moment.
Yeah.
Second Web Weavers are coming, and another move has been made on the Diablo and the Morales of Team Good Guys, right before level 13. A moment well chosen by Leftovers.
Yeah, they keep doing this. They keep finding it. This is what we saw in the Open Division as well. These tiny little opportunities to try and gain value. They can sometimes be considered over-aggressive, as we have seen in the past, but the majority of the times they do end up working. And this is the kind of play that, perhaps with a little bit more polish on it due to more experience, that we see from Fnatic and MVP Black.
And the cool thing is, this is with a warrior like Johanna. Johanna, one of the more passive warriors, generally used to play janitor, clear waves, clean up, pick up the gems, and move around to the next lane. A little bit more passive because she doesn't have a reliable way to engage outside of her heroic ability. Condemn and punish, they're good forms of CC, but they're not really the ones that start a fight, confirm a kill very quickly. Blessed Shield is on a 1-minute cooldown, so every time you use it, it has to count. Yeah. You can't just use it to do a little bit of disruption or anything like that. So whereas ETC or Diablo have a means to engage every 12 seconds, Johanna only once every 1 minute. So you need to be very on point with those Blessed Shields. And so far, Leftovers have looked very good.
She's hit all of them. He's managed to hit every single Blessed Shield, and I think all of them have actually netted a kill.
Yeah, exactly. And that's impressive. Against the double support Crystal Aegis Recall Tracer team, that's very impressive.
Yeah, like everyone is not that vulnerable. Even Diablo, who has like arguably the least escape, is still really tanky, and they've still been able to blow him up already.
So as we're trying to see what the issue might be, we just need to wait a little bit. It looks like there is a small internet issue here. So we beg your patience as we wait for this to resolve in this first game here between Team Leftovers and Team Good Guys.
Exactly, but right now we are seeing a little bit of sunshine coming in here for the Leftovers already, with their heavy executions, which are working out really well for these big blow-up potentials. Slightly interesting builds, once again, slightly off topic. In fact, I can actually see a talent on Stukov there that I don't know the name
I think
of.
that's the one that does more damage when people are low.
Yes, it is, by the looks of it. Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's the Root.
Oh, wow, virulent
reaction.
reaction.
He's going for single target. That's so cool. So for those who don't see, the talent that Stukov has picked on level 13 is when he detonates a wasted pustule on a target that's in his silent, that target is rooted. It's adding more crowd control, more blow up. And who can blame him? Morales doesn't have cleanse anymore and wouldn't have picked it anyway because we're up to that point already. Ariel doesn't have cleanse. They're taking a hero that almost has like 2 set builds maximum and adjusting him for their opponent's comp.
Yeah, I've rarely ever seen this talent being picked on Stukov. So the way that it will work, he has to throw the weighted pustule, confirm a land on someone, put the lurking arm, and then he has to turn on bio kill switch. So these 3 moves have to be done in sequence in order to get the value. So it's a little bit more difficult for your average Stukov player. But if you make it work, then you get the 2-second route while they're in the silence. So that's pretty much a guaranteed kill, especially on someone like Tracer, who needs her abilities in order to get away.
And it looks like we are ready to head back into game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this underway and head back in and see if Morales was able to survive. Yes, she was.
Morales was able to survive,
isn't, though.
but BKB will not be so lucky. Now, without the warrior, the spearhead of the army of Team Good Guys, Leftovers will have free reign, doing anything they so please in this middle lane. They were going to take down the middle fort. Top Web Weaver is still pushing unattended. Leftovers takes a nice lead.
They're out of minions here, but they're still able to clear this up thanks to the great tankiness of Lauber, who is, by the way, currently almost done with his Regen Master. 27 out of 30 there, doing a really good job. Other talents we can already see at level 13. That second opinion, like we did predict earlier, has been picked up by Morales. We see Diablo starting to get his percentage damage in. He's going to try to build those stacks by tackling people into walls. Kael'thas, Pyromaniac, got to get that cooldown reduction. And well met coming in for Uther to try and deal with that Tracer if she goes too deep.
Yeah, Shrink Hammer, as some call it colloquially. Do the Hammer of Justice and reduce damage and movement speed on the target for a short period of time. Team Good Guys checking the boss. What is going to be the next move? It was an obvious scout necessity, as Leftovers doesn't possess enough gems to do a turn-in right now. So where could they be? Instead, it's going to be the Bruiser camp, a far less risky play.
Yeah, I'm going to say both teams trying to prevent the other from turning in. Gul'dan continuing to build up Echo Corruption. No, he's done. So he's going to be able to continually harass these turn-ins with crazy damage output if Leftovers are not careful.
Lauber with 20 gems turn in. Leftovers will probably dial down their aggression a little bit. They are the ones closer to level 16. And they also do not possess enough gems to turn in. They have to play passively, defend Good Guys from turning in, and gradually make their way over to level 16 with its accommodating talent.
Oh, Lauber takes some damage, and it's fine. And you see there that weighted pustule does land on Diablo. Doesn't pop it in time though. He's very much saving his bio kill switch for when it is required. I actually am thinking I actually remember this build now. I think I've seen it before. ADRD might have used it in playoffs, but I'm not 100% sure.
Well, everyone knew about the build synergy, but it's very hard to make it work.
Horrify is used. It's on Stukov, but Stukov doesn't actually go very far. Back to Diablo body blocking him, but there's so much pressure on Lauber. Bomb is dropped, but he survives. Stim Drone is used on Tracer, trying to do some damage onto the backline, focusing onto the links, but the flailing arm gets everyone out of there, and we see Leftovers able to disengage.
They are a little bit hurt. Lauber will have to be careful if he wants to re-engage. Heroics available is only go for the throat. Everything has been used. Anti-hero with the turn-in. No, it gets interrupted by Blake Kidney in the nick of time.
So many interrupts here. Anti-hero's trying again. Lauber with that blinding flash trying to get the denial here. And Leftovers, we talked about it earlier, they have so many really long-range denial abilities. They can keep doing this, and they have enough return in. They're actually going to try. BKB might be too late here. Triple Diva, 22. Good start by Link. So that's the 22 in there. Just for Kidney needed, and there we go. Next Web Weaver wave coming in for Leftovers.
And both Diablo's Hellfire, as well as the Corruption for Gul'dan, just fell shy of interrupting the gems here for Leftovers. And Leftovers have done it. They get the level 16, they get the turn-in, and this could be the most impactful Web Weaver summon as of yet. Pushing in far at the top lane. Web Weavers, of course, will go to exactly where the lane minions of that team are. And that means a very forward position at the top. That Web Weaver will pressure Keep Wall by itself. So Leftovers goes to the middle and forces the team to respond here.
Yeah, they keep the pressure on. Cocktails consistently just flying out from Greymane, making the positioning from Good Guys a little bit more difficult. We have that mark from Johanna as well, so that a little bit more damage can combo with the Cocktails. Lauber, he is in a position where he's actually had that little taste of pro play. He was actually used as a substitute for Team Wish earlier in the season. He doesn't want to lose that taste. He wants to get back. He wants to get in properly with Leftovers here, and they're able to take down the full front wall here.
Yeah, full front wall in the middle has been taken out. As for the top lane, The same cannot be said, as there is some ammunition loss, some damage, but that's pretty much it. And now Leftovers, if they were to start this boss, it would be a quest of the most risky proportions. They no longer hold the talent lead. Team Good Guys have done a good job catching up and limiting damage. They're going to let the bottom Web Weaver time out, because if they actually were to go for it, Leftovers could capitalize on their lack of togetherness and start that boss immediately. Good call by Team Good Guys. Going to be checking the boss. BKB will get Hammer of Justice it.
Yeah, they try to make the play. BKB drops the APOC. Beautiful hand of protection onto Kael'thas, but the Horrify is still good. But Loba is being such a great distraction. Diablo gets taken out. Loba front-running like a beast here. They're pulling him in. Kael'thas dropping the damage, gets the knock-off on Tracer. Living Bomb doesn't spread, but it's still probably enough. Blakitney dropping low, but with Pox Populi, we're seeing Stukov with crazy healing output, making it someone... Whoa! Jump pull, Diva punishing Tracer, turning it round, and they pick up 2 more kills.
And they send Ariel careening into the place that they intend to tread into, going for the boss. Diablo, of course, is still down from his early demise. And Leftovers is going to be grabbing that boss, and they are going to be applying pressure to the keep. Now, Good Guys, they do have 1 gem away from a turn-in, but it would be risky for them to turn in. And as we can see, Lauber on Johanna is indeed checking that location. Good Guys go for the consolation prize, grabbing a Bruiser camp, before undoubtedly getting in position to stop that boss from taking down the keep.
Like I said, the boss is heading straight for the keep. It was only a little bit weaker by the Web Weaver. It actually survived a lot better than I expected, that top lane.
Yeah.
Only having one of the towers damaged, so we are actually going to see a full defense by Team Good Guys here, going to clear that out, while Leftovers attempt to gain value elsewhere. They would love to be able to try and take a keep at this point, but it's still too risky. Mid lane is too easy for them to get caught, and bot lane still has towers up.
Yeah, you can play to impress by your flashy moves, or you can play to actually just win the game no matter how. While Leftovers is not showing a kind of crazy aggression here, they are actually doing exactly what they need to be doing, showing the experience of a veteran team here and not going too greedily, pushing with the boss, trying to get a keep. They're confident in their late game, and they're breathing down level 20. This is where they want to get in before they make their final move.
Tackle onto Loba. This is giving Diablo his stacks. In fact, he's already finished now, so he's doing a big chunk of percentage damage, which is great to try and kill Loba. With the double healers, it's looking pretty difficult to kill off that incredibly tanky hero. Locked and loaded on Tracer will help with maximum possible damage output with Tracer, as long as you're able to keep the micro up.
Now, this is the moment where Team Good Guys want to fight. Ideally. The problem is Bruiser and Siege Cap are pushing in their lanes. And it's instead going to be Leftovers that seek out BKB, who left late. They go for him. BKB with the immediate turnaround, but it was out of turn. Morales is not near. Apocalypse misses, and he burns an important cooldown. 90 seconds on the Apocalypse.
You see, the weighted pustule dropped as well, keeping the slows on him there. Once again, a single target, so we're seeing Potiboss in a beautiful position for his team there. Everyone's completely topped off. And Good Guys, that Web Weaver wave is going to help, mostly just to declear bot lane. To clear bot lane, as we see that Siege Giant camp will get taken out very quickly. And that's a pretty big deal, considering those towers going down would have opened up the bot lane as another potential endpoint.
Yeah. The Siege Cap, though, did a good job to kill the Web Weaver, which will not even do anything to bottom forward. And as it stands now, Leftovers, they get their level 20, but they're pretty far away from getting the next gem turn-in. Well, a little bit away, not too far actually. As for Team Good Guys, they can just be happy that they haven't lost a keep yet. With 3 keeps, but still far away from 20, they're going to have to play a special brand of passivity here, not really trying to do anything, and just waiting, defending keeps over and over. Good for them is that the boss is not available yet. Bad for them is that Web Weavers are about to come.
Yeah, and exactly the right amount of gems. 2 more picked up from that minion wave, but another Web Weaver on the way, very likely here from Leftovers. They're going to keep the pressure on. They are so close at this point. The second they start getting keeps down, it's going to start getting even more out of control.
Yeah, Team Good Guys, they have some good wave clear, but they don't have anything global. And that means actually putting anyone to defend catapults in the mid to late game is going to allow Leftovers to move around with an unusual level of impertinence, because they will know that Team Good Guys is not together as 5, and that means there's almost no risk. Leftovers is looking to open up that map.
You see Kael'thas now with his level 20 flamethrower. He's sieging down from so far away here, making it so rough to dodge, and in the fury of the sun well, and you can see good siege potential, excuse me, good zoning potential, and we're seeing Leftovers making a play for their first keep, and they're pretty much certain to get it at this point.
Yeah, top keep goes down. Middle web weaver is being dealt with in a very expedited manner by Team Good Guys, and the bottom web weaver is fairly far away by the virtue of how deep that lane was pushed by the residual web weaver of Team Good Guys. Now, Team Good Guys, they're going through a mantra. Just now it was, we still have 3 keeps, we still have 3 keeps. Now that's 2 keeps.
Yeah, we still have 2 keeps, it's fine. We still have 1 keep, we still have a core.
It's okay,
That's how it goes.
Our house is on fire, but it's okay, we still have 2 of them instead of 3.
Morales
This is fine.
Morales is just there in the background, just like, I wish I still had fuel.
Yep.
But you can't repair something that's already destroyed in the form of that top keep. And mid keep is starting to look like it's going to join it anytime soon. Stun onto low, but looks like they want to try and make a play, but they don't go for the second charge after the flip.
Leftovers positions very well. They make sure that Diablo never can push any squishy into a wall without punishment. Now getting slowed by that bio kill switch. Potiboss doing a great job. And the final keep goes down. Level 19.5. Team Good Guys is being pushed to the point where nothing but a last-ditch effort ending victoriously would actually allow them to come back into this game. With catapult pressure mounting, Leftovers grabbing Bruiser Camp, going back to the Siege Camp, no doubt, and also getting the second Bruiser Camp. Leftovers is putting this map on lockdown. And Team Good Guys will have to get not just their first kill of the game, but they'll have to get up to 4 in order to actually be able to make that a game-winning fight. And it's going to be tough.
I didn't even realize they didn't have any kills. Oh my god, that is quite insane. We're seeing Leftovers setting up on like the one really high priority point of the boss. McKinney's a little bit far away though. This could be dangerous if the Good Guys were to move right now. Lorba fights the back like a beautiful containment strike though. Kronaz on point. Here's the play, but another hand of protection. Controlled chaos though. Potiboss still getting focused here. There's that stim drone anti-hero coming in, dropping the damage output. Trying to focus onto Uther here. BKB also putting pressure onto Linked, who's getting flipped everywhere. Down goes Uther, but redemption though.
Yep, I mean, Johanna was quote-unquote killed, so was Uther, and both have a death trait. Uther is going to be coming back with that redemption, and Johanna's indestructible was procced. Now we have a small pause again, as no doubt someone's internet acted up a little bit. So apologies for that, but this is a very key moment. Just taking a look at the situation, Crystal Aegis is still available, but everything else has been used. All the aggressive tools for Team Good Guys have been used, and they only succeeded to kill the 2 that don't really care about dying all that much.
Yeah.
They're not really dead. Uther's going to be coming back, and Johanna was saved.
It was a very nice play, though, able to focus down those 2 heroes. It still means that Indestructible has its own cooldown. Uther has its own cooldown for Redemption. Those are still tools that aren't available, and they didn't lose anyone for it. What they did lose, however, is Horrify and Apocalypse. These are still really big deals, and Stim Drone, actually, as well. They burned a lot of cooldowns to not kill 2 people. They removed tools from Leftovers, but is that enough?
We look at Team Leftovers. They still have Go for the Throat. They still have Flailing Swipe. Divine Shield, I believe, is still available. So they have tools to re-engage and to pressure at the boss. And the thing is, Leftovers, they don't need to make this boss work. You look at the map, there's Bruiser Camp pushing middle against Team Good Guys, and the Siege Camp is pressuring bottom keep. The longer Leftovers can make this last, losing no one, killing no one, the better it is for them. They're going to win this game effortlessly because the map is so tilted in their favor.
Exactly. Right now, they're in so much control, it's really hard to see a world where they actually lose. But reminder that both Diamond Skin and Polska yesterday won games where they took fights against a level 20 team pre-20 themselves. And right now, this is actually decent for Good Guys here, because they do actually have 20 now. They have everything they need. They have all the tools. All they need to do is to not lose the game. They need to basically turtle until Leftovers make a mistake.
Yeah, but in this case, turtling would involve sending someone back, which is the height of volley when a boss is available post level 21. It would go straight for the good guys' core.
Luckily for them, top lane is one of the lanes with a keep down, so catapults will be coming in it. Unfortunately, mid lane's also dead, so there's still multiple lanes of catapult pressure.
Now, bruiser camps aren't as threatening on a core as siege camps or catapults would be, so that's something working for them. But it looks like the teams are ready again, so let's jump right back into it. We have Team Good Guys. They need to force an engagement. They can do so in two ways. Walk forward and try to have a fight, or to get the boss. And they go forward, and they find Kel'Thas. Divine Shield will be used same time as Mana Addict, Arcane Barrier. That's a really good thing for Good Guys. The next engage may actually draw some real victims.
Quite possibly. We also saw Anti-Hero there getting Aegis, so that's a big heroic again to burn. With Divine Shield down, go for the throat, is still available. But BKB way into the backline, putting some pressure on, tackles himself back towards this team there with the help of Johanna, and he is back with his team. But remember, look at Raid Boss, he's starting to run low on energy. The longer this goes on, worse it's going to be.
Now, Morales is out of energy. She needs to not channel her healing beam in order to slowly start getting her energy back. But she, due to the poke damage, she keeps having to use it.
Stim drone is dropped, trying to focus McKinney, but the bomb is missed here. BKB focusing Linked, control Chaos, keeping it alive, and down goes the Ariel there with that Flame Strike.
Really good Blessed Shield here. Leftovers do not allow Team Good Guys to get back into it. There's catapult pressure on the core. It will be taking damage momentarily. Bottom keep is going down. Team Good Guys is going to put it all on a 4 versus 5 at the boss. They know if they give away the boss, they lose the game, notwithstanding.
They have Horrify. They have Apocalypse. They don't have Aegis because she's dead. Here comes BKB with so little health, no mana. He goes down. Gul'dan arrives, drops some damage. They've stopped the boss being taken, but everything else is going downhill. Linked might die. There we go. Quick reaction coming in from Boss there to turn it around, and the boss will be started here. Immediately, Diablo moves back to base because 17 seconds, it's not bad for Ariel to return. Tracer, though, will not be available for most of the defense. Step drone, Gul'dan, control Chaos, Say 3 goes down, boss is going to be taken. Didn't even use Horrify there. Link gets caught in the stun of the boss, but it's still enough. They take down the boss, and they're going to be moving on for core.
So the play here is to send in a stim-drowned Gul'dan to cause confusion and disruption, and to do a Horrify play in order to steal the boss. Had he done that, maybe they get the boss.
I think it was like Stimdog gives you movement speed. Yeah. I guess that's the logic. Just get him in there fast enough to Horrify and steal.
And maybe they end up having to chase Gul'dan so far that the boss gets leashed again.
Maybe.
But of course, it was the only player remaining to Good Guys. Leftovers will indeed be taking the boss and going for the Cortege.
And that is going to be it. Game number 1 goes over to the Leftovers. Well played by them. They are one step closer to taking the position of Good Guys in HGC Europe.
1-0 in the best of 7. Still plenty of wriggling room here for Team Good Guys. But what a confident and resounding victory here for the Leftovers. 12-1 in takedowns, and the only kill was made on an Uther with Redemption. Now that's some seriously good planning by Leftovers.
It worked so well. They had full control the entire time. There was a couple situations where heroes looked like they were going to die, but Hand of Protection, Divine Shield, everything Stukov did, even though we didn't really get to see the root play that much, but it was still cool. He was still able to get the cooldown reduction value from the earlier talents.
And it was tough for Diablo here, for BKB, in order to find his mark. Because he was the only frontliner, not counting Tracer, who does get pretty close but doesn't have the health pool of a frontliner, BKB had his work cut out for him. Jumping into the mountains of crowd control abilities that Leftovers had by himself meant that he had to make a kill in order to make that a non-risky prospect for himself. But with Divine Shield, with the bio kill switch healing, it was almost impossible for him to do so.
And as such, Tracer got blown up a lot. Did not have a good time in that game. Well met, was exceptionally effective. Even Kel'Thas was able to do some really good predictions on the recall and then some really solid gravity laps. Of course, the Flame Strike Kel'Thas build with max range Flame Strikes at the later game was really scary with burned flesh as well, killing off Ariel a lot of times because everyone's grouped around her. Just aim for her every time. There's a good chance you're going to hit 2 heroes.
And if you do, you get that cooldown reduction. And of course, the extra range on it was instrumental in taking down the keeps, which made it such a harrowing position for Team Good Guys to begin with. Now, what do we think Team Good Guys learned from this game, if anything? The first thing, I guess, that leftovers are not to be messed with. But draft-wise,
Cleanse is really good. Even if you're just against a Johanna, there was so much crowd control there.
Yeah.
The Tracer into such high crowd control, even with double support, when you're relying on just Gul'dan to give you the energy, can be a huge issue. So they went for a sort of mixture of safe and risky play, and it didn't really work out. I think they need to stick with one.
So the support choke on Linked kind of failed. Linked ended up going for his Uther, which was still available, and he got the cleanse.
Yeah.
And the Rhaegar removal and the quick Morales pick, and then finally the Ariel, but no cleanse. And it doesn't seem like you need the cleanse against Johanna, but in the end, they would have wanted to have it.
Indeed, and there's also just such a huge point of how well the Stukov played as well. Pokéboss was on point that game. Even just with damage, the Spine Launcher was able to keep him safe. With not even a silence play, usually that's what you mark. This Stukov was amazing. Just the consistent weighted pustules, maximum possible disruption, maximum amount of the time.
Now, of course, in theory, instead of cleanse, you could also use Ariel's Crystal Aegis. There were a few times where someone got Blessed Shielded, and then to see an immediate Aegis coming out. That would have been a relevant play. Really good counter engage, the damage, the momentum break, the removal of the crowd control. This could have been something Kronas for Team Good Guys could have done, but either he didn't have time to react or he decided to prioritize the usage of Aegis differently, maybe to save someone from a deeper valley than just the initial stun.
Yeah. So let's have a look at what the next battleground is gonna